you up with DJI.
Uh-huh.
My DJI sponsor.
Oh yeah.
What's that? A Osmo? A Gizmo? What gimbal is that? A gimbal. DJI makes something called a gimbal. I can get you one.
Okay.
We can hook you up there. All right, what are we making? What do you think this is? You actually already know what it is, don't you?
Yes, I do, because of this.
3 pieces of webbing and some Cordura and
a fishing pole.
And this a gizmo. Not to be confused with your gizbol, your glimbal. All right, check it out. This is what we're going to build. It's a 2-point padded sling. And there's a few different ways you can make this. I'm going to show you how I make it. And then you can make yours. And after you go buy all the stuff and you're like, man, I really don't want to build this, mine doesn't look like John's, then you can just buy one of these. Or you could skip all that and just buy one of these. But if you're a sewing guy and you want to build one, this is how I build it. And I always use this foot as a third hand, because here's 1, 2, there's my third. Press your foot down, holding it, keeps it in place. And I'm going to sew this inside out. And my Cordura already has marks on it. We use silver Sharpie on dark stuff. My guys mark on the back side. I always mark on the front side. If they mark on the back side and mess it up, depending on what it is, you can still use it. As you see, these were marked for something that they marked too many of at some point. But on the inside of this sling, nobody's going to know it's there. We should do like a Willy Wonka ticket and we just write it on the inside of product.
They have to cut it all open.
They have to cut it open to see if they, I don't think you could cut it. Once you cut it open, you're probably not resewing it, but you never know. And the guys that didn't win, they'll just buy more of them. But I mean, there's the risk, right? Do you want to have the golden ticket and never know, or do you want to look and see if you have the golden ticket? Who would we use for Oompa Loompas? All right, look guys.
Jeff.
This is a piece of metal. I'm guessing my calibrated eye says that this is 1/4. It actually is 1/4, or whatever's equivalent to that, close. This is bent over. I don't know what this was. I don't know if we made this. We very well might have made this, but I'm going to show you how I do this to turn things inside out. There's all kinds of shit you can do. You could sew and just tack 550 here and then pull it. I've seen guys do that with our very skinny camo bungee slings. That's how we actually do it. They sew a piece of 550 on there because it's just too tight to turn it. But with these, I can pull these just like so. Make sure that is in your seat and not your groin. If this stutters really fast, you might damage yourself. Although some of you probably being removed from the gene pool. I'm sure there's one of you guys out there that should be. Or if you currently have kids and you're not paying for them, you probably also should not have any more kids. That's up to you though. All right, so there's a few ways you could do this. You could actually sew this with the seam on the outside. You could sew it with the seam on the inside. I want my seam to face one direction when what I'm talking about here is all this material. I'm going to face it this direction in this case, so it all lays kind of flat. I'm going to stage this off center more to the top or to the right, depending how you orient this. And then I'm going to pull all of this tight, and I'm going to overlap this here. Now, you can play with it and figure out how you're going to get it dead center of the product, or you can worry more about pulling all that slack out of there and it not being perfectly straight. Maybe it's going to be a little bit wavy. I'm sure you could also come up with some clever way to make this tighter. Anytime we've tried to make things super tight by sewing the Cordura tight and then sliding foam in there, it's never comes out as tight. I would rather have the seam a little wavy and have the product way, way tighter. And in this case, that's what we get. I have 3 pieces of webbing here. I'll take the tail first for the back of the sling, and I'm going to put this up in here. You can put it on top of your foam or under your foam, doesn't really matter which. I'm going to put about an inch of that up there, and what I'm going to do is when I come down here, I'm going to catch this with this stitch, and I'm going to put more thread in here, you'll see in a second. Let's go ahead and eliminate this piece here too while we're here. I had a bunch of these cut in multicam black. I probably should have cut one in a lighter color. It would come out better on the camera. Will it matter?
No.
Same thing, I'm going to come back in here. And I want this right in the center here. It just holds it in, tacks it. My foam is about a 1/2 inch up inside here. When I sew it, we're actually going to be very close to the foam here. Now, I'm going to take my favorite screwdriver. They used to give these away at tire shops and stuff. I'm going to kick this in. Yours doesn't have to kick in, it just looks more finished this way. And I'm going to get this one here. This has more bulk. This is where that seam that I laid down inside there is, so it's a lot thicker on this side. So if you're running a lighter weight machine, just go slow through that stuff. You might even want to hand crank it through that stuff. It is pretty thick right there. Same with the foam. A lot of times when you're sewing foam on a lighter weight machine, even some of your other machines, if you don't have the tensions all correct, you'll get this nice stitch line here. You'll get a bunch of loops down here. So it's just because it's compressing that foam, and your tensions and your pressure on your downward foot is not holding it down enough. Appearance-wise, it looks pretty bad. The simple fix for that is once you've crushed it down with the first stitch line, put another stitch line through there. That will not take care of the nasty appearance though. So some of our gear that is 30 years old, even 20-year-old on the market, trades for very high prices, some of our old stuff. And when I see it, I'm always surprised at how much better our quality and stitching is now compared to then, but it's the old stuff that the collectors and stuff want, whereas the new product is just so much cleaner. That. Let me go get, we use these flat labels on everything, these wovens, but I've got some folding tags that I'll put on this here. So long side, long tail is the back side, short tail is the front side. This is a tension adapter off of what's on Alice packs, actually. I think that's what it is. I think that's the same piece that goes on an Alice pack. I'm going to sew this right here. And I'm going to conceal this into this stitch line. ton of shadow over here. There we go. Now this adapter will allow this to pull this way, but lock this way, and then you have to release it to get it to flow this way. I'm going to bring this through here and then through here. You don't have to put it through both of them. That'll just give it a little more drag versus not being through there. But the end user, the customer, can unroute it and run it through both or one if they choose to. This right here, I'm going to sew so that that's in the middle or equal on both sides. And then I'm just going to run a stitch line through the middle of this. And then this is the adjustment tail that you just let this and the rifle will come down, it'll lower it. And then you just pull this and it'll bring the gun up closer to you. Now this, you can secure this around here, just like so. And then to attach this to your rifle, we're just going to put a tri-glide on here on both ends, and then they can use any hardware that they already have, any adapters, or they can use our adapters if they choose to order them. If you order our adapters, HK clip, QD swivel, whatever, we're going to give you a buckle, and you're just going to slide that buckle on there with that tri-glide, and then you're going to have that buckle. You can take it on and off. If you don't want to use the buckle we send it out with, you can simply cut the webbing off and put it straight on the sling without that. But all of our stuff, all of our slings typically have side squeeze buckles on them. So that's the sling. I need 2 tri-glides, and that's it. We're done. Here's your tri-glides. And we give you both pieces of hardware. And then that allows you to put on any hardware that you already have, or you can order it off of our website as well. So, padded 2-point sling. Runs out just like so. And then you just pull the 550 cord that'll be on here in a moment, and you can just let this off. You also don't have to have this dominated here. You can leave this open so you have the tail to access a little more easy. But when you pull this, the weight of the weapon will pull it down. So that's your padded 2-point sling, and you can build yours or you can order ours.
Is it going to be in the giveaway?
Yeah, this will be in the giveaway on the
Next
31st,
Wednesday.
next Wednesday. We will announce the winners next Wednesday when Scully's back in here. We recorded three-hour podcast today. If you're on our memberships at the $10 membership level, you will have access to that next week. Is that the schedule?
It'll be up Monday.
Up Monday, so you'll be able to see that episode 34. And then the giveaway is on Patreon, $5 membership. We're going to pick one winner out of Patreon. All you have to do is be a Patreon member to be in the contest. And we're going to take all of this gear that we've made in these videos and give it to one person on the Patreon.